Hey, call me Shape, and today we're reacting to a video titled Remove Yourself from the Crowd. Let's get right into the content.
Thank you for joining me this morning on my morning walk in the forests of Germany. And it's slightly chilly and a little bit of drizzling going on, slight rain. In other words, the weather is perfect, especially for walking right now. And I hope the sounds are not going to be too distracting. It should mostly be nature sounds, so that might even be nice. And this morning I'm thinking about what our ancient Stoic friend, philosopher friend Seneca has to say about the shortness of life and how we spend it. He says, it's not that life is short, it's that we waste so much of it. And we hear a lot about how life is just short and there's nothing we can do much about it, but it is also important to realize how much shorter we make it. But regardless, I take the measure of a life well lived, of a mind at peace with itself, and of spiritual progress, if you will, as directly correlated to one's ability to spend time by oneself. It's a direct measure of your health of mind and, again, of spiritual progress, how much time you can spend with yourself and be at ease. Because with whom in life do you have to spend more time than with yourself? And if one cannot be by oneself, one can also not be with oneself. And what's worse than that? What's sadder than a person not being able to spend time with the one person that they're bound to as long as they live, which is the self? What better thing can we do for ourselves than to become comfortable with that very person? And not only comfortable, but so much more. And as Seneca also advises, the one and only way to do that, to get in touch with that person, and to be able to not only stand that person, but love that person, and to really become also the self that you want to become. The first and foremost condition, the first thing to do, and the biggest thing to do, and the most integral thing to do, is to remove oneself from the crowd. You need to remove yourself from the crowd. And the crowd does not only consist of people, because sure, people have a lot of influence on us and they have big effects on us, but there's so many other things, especially in our time. We used to maybe be able to say that if we were away from people, we were away from their influence, we were away from their ideas, largely. But nowadays one can never leave the house, but through the phone, through the TV, through whatever, be constantly distracted and most importantly, constantly be influenced by ideas which are just as much time wasters and negative and harmful to the mission of getting in touch with oneself as anything else is.
Whoa, heavy stuff right now. I want to comment on the fact that he said that the measure of your spiritual health and your mental health is your ability to spend time with yourself. I love that. Well, conveniently, I won't lie, I'm a loner, so I spend a lot of time by myself. But I do realize at times I feel jealous of people who have big friend groups and they get a lot of attention and they have a lot of social contacts and connections. And what sometimes I think about, like, wow, a lot of these people who I'm jealous in a way, not really jealous, but sometimes I'm like, damn, it'd be nice to have a friend. These people have a lot of friends. I never. I think to myself like, they don't know how to be alone. The reason why they have a bunch of friends is because they would hate to be by themselves. But why? Why would you hate to be by yourself? People are avoiding themselves. So I think what he said here is like the ability to measure your own health in terms of your ability to be by yourself. It's an incredible one. Because I'll tell you what, a lot of people can't be by themselves. Not even for a moment. And that's why they'll be in a relationship. They'll always constantly be going out. Very few people could just sit still. So let's continue. I think the dude's, he's cooking right now. He's cooking.
And so to remove oneself from the crowd means to give oneself the space and time required for anyone. No one can do this without this. This is not a crutch or anything. This is how anyone who's ever done it must have done it. It's to give oneself the space and time to first of all get away from everything, and then to re-examine everything that was there before. And I know it's uncomfortable to be with one's own mind, and the thoughts that come up can be scary, they can be uncomfortable, they can be anxiety inducing, and that's right. But those thoughts, the person that you meet there, the ideas that you see there, the things that you're confronted with there are the real you. You are not who you are when you're distracted, when you're with other people, especially other people who do not challenge you on things, who are themselves only looking for distractions. And also there are so many societal norms that we are naturally pressured to adopt and to live by, that we can't realize that they're actually not good for us, that we're just doing things because that's how they're done.
Yeah, it's like the go along to get along, right? Or to get along to go along, whichever one is the order of that. I don't have the pressure of that because I'm a loner. I'm virtually by myself, and I'm talking about in the workplace. I'm talking about when it comes to just like I don't have that much family around. I could really count the amount of friends I have on my hand, and I consider a person a friend if they would call me. If I stopped calling them, if they would reach out to me at some point. If you wouldn't call me to check up on me, we're not friends. So that's what I mean. But I agree. A lot of people are surrounding themselves with a bunch of people because they're surrounding themselves with a bunch of distractions. And there's like a group think kind of going on that, if we all got to think alike to all get along with each other and play with each other, and you start to think to yourself, well, but is this a really good perspective? Like, is this idea, this standard that we have, is it a good one? Are we really challenging ourselves? Because people are too scared to speak out against the group because they don't want the group to turn on them. Again, because if the group turns on them, they'll be by themselves.
And to remove yourself from the crowd is getting away from that too. And so it is that whenever there's no distraction, whenever there's nothing to do, whenever it happens, those few moments where we just can't think of how to distract ourselves, something from the past perhaps comes up, and we feel anxiety, and so we escape. Or something from the future comes up, and it feels overwhelming, and so we escape. Or even in the present, the emptiness, the not knowing who we are without those distractions, those people around us, that comes in, and we escape. And so that's why life feels so short, because we hardly inhabit any of it. We don't inhabit the present. We don't inhabit the present because there's something demanded of us and we feel not up to the task. We don't inhabit the past because there's anxiety in it. There's regret in it. And we don't inhabit the future because it feels overwhelming. All that is to come feels overwhelming. And if we hardly inhabit our lives, which consists of nothing else but the past, present, and the future, and present, most importantly, of course. If we hardly inhabit any of it, how can we live any of it? And if we hardly live any of it, how can we say that life should be longer, that it's short? If we don't make use of it, if we're constantly distracted and escaping the very domain that we're supposed to inhabit and call life, then of course we make life short, if not even non-existent. But the person who is at that high place where life's fortunes, life circumstances, the missiles of fortune cannot strike them anymore, those people, when they not only can be by themselves, they enjoy being by themselves. They have their greatest insight, their best ideas, and their most comfortable, pleasurable times alive they have with themselves, because they can reminisce about things in the past rather than regret other things in the past. If there's a call to action right now, if something needs to be done, they feel ready and prepared because they have been spending time with themselves preparing for things and thinking about things. And they can think about the future and excitedly anticipate the things that are to come and not be overwhelmed by the things to come. And so they inhabit the past whenever they want to, the present whenever they want to or have to, and the future whenever they have to or want to. And so they completely fill out that domain, that only domain that we have to call life, to live, to inhabit. They take full possession of it, and they live it fully. But the only way to get to that, the only way to get to be a true, full inhabitant, liver of life, is not around those thoughts, is not around the mind that feels so overwhelming when we are with it, but to go through those things. The only way is through, truly.
Yeah, man, I just discovered this channel. It's called Accepting the Universe. I'm going to tag the channel below and the link to this video below. You should definitely watch the whole thing by yourself. An incredible video. But I want to talk about how, because I spend a lot of time by myself, right? And I'm not someone that, I make friends easily. I'm friendly, but I'm just someone that a lot of people don't want to, add me to their friend group, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm very comfortable being by myself. And what I think about when I'm by myself is like, gee, this is a lot of time. When you spend hours and hours by yourself, it feels like a lot of time. So when he's talking about how life feels short, yeah, it feels short to people who are constantly filling up their time with distractions, right? Hanging out, going out, doing this, doing that, going looking for experiences. They're not inhabiting the presence because they're always trying to be somewhere else, right? And, this is why I love reading, because reading is like an individual sport. I mean, of course, you could read out loud in a group, but usually not everyone's interested in the same type of books. Not everyone's interested in the same type of information. So when I read and I'm by myself, or I listen to audiobooks, because that's like one of my favorite things to do. I get up in the morning, take a shower, listen to audiobooks. It's a time for me to reflect and just enjoy it. And I just feel like, wow, there's just so much time in this day to just really, I could listen to books, I could study stuff, there's so much I could do. And that's why I be thinking to myself, like, damn, I want some friends so I could do to utilize this time with other people. But I never thought of it as a strength, the way this guy's make me feel like, wow, it's a strength of character, because I do know a lot of people would hate to be by themselves. But what they're doing is they're avoiding themselves. And like you said, in order to reach that place where you have strong mental health, spiritual health, you can't go around it. You got to go right through it. So, dude's killing it. I'm going to let him cook a little bit more.
There's no other way. And every time it meets us, whenever we have to, because we hardly let it, when there's no distraction, no one around us, the phone's off for some reason. Whenever it meets us there, we go through the first exit. We leave it. We distract ourselves from what just happened, and we try to get as far away from it as possible. And so we never go through that, and so we never make progress, and so nothing ever gets better. And it's a string of distractions. That's the best we can do. But I know that the only reason why we can't go through it is because it feels like it's so much, it's too much. It's not possible, and we can't do it by ourselves. And maybe it doesn't even feel right. Maybe it feels like something one should escape from, but it really is not. And what we have to do is like any other training. It's like developing any other skill. To be in touch with oneself, to be comfortable, to truly inhabit one's life is a skill. It's a muscle. It needs training. It needs exercise. And the way we do that is simple. You might want to call it exposure therapy. Just deliberately give yourself that time and space. And this is exactly what it means to remove yourself from the crowd. It's to give yourself that time and space to be by yourself and with yourself, and to let whatever comes up come up.
Wow. Man, shout out to this young brother, man. I really appreciate it. Even the scenery, very well done. The camera just seems like it's floating. I'm assuming he's holding it on a stick, but just an amazing job. I'm going to check out some more of his content. And like I said, I'm going to type his channel in the description below, as well as the link to this video. Check out the entire video. My last thoughts on this is, yes, people should try to spend more time by themselves. It's great to have friends. It's great to have a group of people that validate you and approve of you, but you're not going to make any mental progress. And so when I look at this is like, this is spiritual procrastination, right? To constantly be out and about. This is a Sunday night, I'm home. Yesterday was Saturday night, I was home as well. I wasn't out and about. I lived not too far from a bar. If I wanted to go try to make something happen with girls or fool around or whatever, I could have went to the bar. And I got my own place. So I got a place to bring them back to, but I still didn't do that. I stayed by myself, right? Working on YouTube videos, working on myself, working on my grind. And this is like the 4th video I cranked out today. And thumbnails and all that. I'm saying that to say that you make so much more progress when you're working on yourself. There's time to work with people and collaborate, but there's also time to work on yourself. And the most valuable you could be to anyone is if you're valuable to yourself, right? And so check out this video, an incredible video. I appreciate you guys. And check out some of my other videos. I'll see you over there.